that it describes. One is tapa, other is swadhyaya, and ishvara pranidhana. These are the three elements that constitute Kriya Yoga. Let's proceed a little further and read the next sutra to understand its overall meaning. Samadhi bhavanartaha, that is, with the intention of samadhi, klesha tanu karana arthascha. Knowing tanu means the physical body, karana means instrument, that the physical body is tainted. In other words, when it says klesha, klesha means something that has blemish or is tainted, and in our understanding, a programmed entity. Deprogramming is cleansing. So in other words, the two sutras together over here are essentially saying that we are born into this, into the body, the implication, in order to do some actions. So in doing the actions, and what is the attitude of doing the actions? The attitude of doing the action is such. Tapaha means, actually, tap means heat, and the reason heat is used is that is how you purify yourself. In other words, when you have a, excuse me 1 second. When you have an action, anytime you act, you're going to burn calories. Anytime you have an act of burning, programs manifest in the form of action. But how does the burning of the programs occur? It occurs because you seek to understand why and what. That is the concept of swadhyaya. And Ishvara Pranidhana means surrendering to God. In other words, you are no longer reacting to what is the outcome of the actions. In other words, you don't focus on the results, you simply do your duty that is programmed within you, and the karmas cause it to come in front of you. And this is how, through the purification and understanding the body is something that is an instrument by which we can purify ourselves, and the intention of it is to reach samadhi. So this is the definition of karma yoga also from Bhagavad Gita and in other Vedantic documents that you have seen. So the same kind of idea is expressed over here. So now that he has mentioned the term klesha, the klesha is a term he did not use before in the previous chapter. So now he wants to define what are the kleshas. So this is the job from Sutra number 3 going to up to Sutra number 9. He is going to define what the kleshas are. So we'll just introduce them today, and we will continue the deeper discussion tomorrow. The concept of klesha or programmed entity are fivefold, and essentially they are, Sutra number 3 says, avidya. Avidya means lack of understanding about the nature of existence. Asmita. Asmita is the programmed entity within us, which acts as me, the experiencer. So you're able to observe everything and sense everything. Raga means anything to which you have attachment. Dvesha means anything for which you have aversion. Abhinivesha means me as the doer, me as the actor. So these are the 5 abhiniveshaha. When it does as plural, it is thinking about that plural is the case ending for all the 5 together. These are the kleshaha. Kleshas, plural is kleshaha. So the kleshas are these fivefold, is described over here in Sutra number 3. Now, the Patanjali Muni is going to explain to us that the first klesha, the avidya, is of a very special kind. That is, lack of understanding about the nature of existence. If you knew the nature of existence, then in which case you would obviously have the intelligence to understand what you observe and the attractions and aversions and me of the sense as the doer. All of these will have less of a chance to play a trick on you. So essentially he says, because you know the nature of existence is such that where the body is only a carrier of the program, so you start becoming less reactive to all of these things, and that's the path that leads you to the state of samadhi and to the objective of yoga, to go beyond, to realize everything and thereby go beyond rebirth. So sutra number 4 says, avidya kshetram, literally translating, the avidya's zone of operation, kshetram is its zone of operation, uttaresham. Uttaresham means in the above. Uttaresham refers to all the 5. Relative to all the 5, the role of avidya is hierarchically on the top. And its nature is, prasupta means dormant, tanu means weak, vichinna means broken up, segmented, udarana means activated. So the program element of avidya can exist within you in these following dimensions. Anitya, anitya is that which is impermanent. Ashuchi means that which is not pure. Dukkha means that which brings misery. Anatmasu is anatma. Anatmak means something that is not core to the matter. But these anatmasu, considering them as nitya, that is permanent, the shuchi, that is pure, sukha means that which brings happiness, and atma is that understanding that as the real inner core. Khyatihi, that is that understanding, is avidya. So avidya is thinking what is not permanent as permanent, what is not pure as pure, what is brings misery as something that you think brings happiness, and what is not core to the matter, you think this is indeed core to the matter. That is the nature of avidya. So this is what we call as Atma Vidya. Now we are going to stop over here, and I will explain, we'll have a little more discussion, that this is the bundle of your total awareness of the nature of existence that exists within you in the Atmanadi. And the concept of it being dormant means that there is the idea of prasupta or dormant means potentially everybody can have it, and you have a certain amount of it, but so long as you are in this body, you can it can delude you, because the sense organs looking outside, you become attracted, aversion, all of this coming on, so you can get deluded. Tanu means it is light, very little, and vichinna means, the concept of vichinna means being separated or broken. This literally means, for some people, their inner awareness is broken into 2 segments. So we say, when we look at the level of Atma Vidya that you have, it may look like like the sign of infinity, like a sideward facing 8. So you have 2 little blobs broken up that are together. When this happens, we say that the person can have a split nature. So such kind of people, when they're triggered, the external trigger makes them behave one way at times, and at other times with other people, they are completely different. So that is the idea of vichinna, or broken up. Udarana means they are active in the sense that for people for whom the level of programs are a little more rounded, they are fully active. So that is the idea that is brought over here. So with that, we will stop over here, and we'll continue with the 5 program elements or kleshas, as is said in the Yoga Sutras, next time. So we can bring our awareness to the perineum, and we'll begin with the chakra vibrations. Pressing on the little finger, we begin with Lam. Take a deep breath in. Lam. Now, release the fingers and continue. One last time. Now bring the awareness an inch or so above the perineum, and there we do Vam, pressing on the ring finger with the thumb. Vam. Release the hand and continue. Now bring the awareness behind the navel, and pressing on the middle finger, we do Ram. Ram. Release the fingers and continue. Now bring the awareness to the middle of the chest, in between the breasts, and here we do yum, pressing on the index finger. Take a deep breath in. Yum. 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 Release the fingers and continue. Yum. Bring the awareness to the throat, and here we do hum. Thumbs up, loose fist. Take a deep breath in. Hum. Chum. Chum. Hum. So, thumbs up. Take a deep breath in. Hum. Hum. Release the hand. Continue. Hum. Hum. Last time. Hum. Now, middle of the head, we do chum. Thumbs up, loose fist. Chum. 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 Release the hands and continue. Chum. 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 Top of the head, we do Om. Thumbs up, loose fist. Om. 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 Release the hands and continue. Om. 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 Last time. Om. Now we go on to the Ujjayi Pranayama, the Happiest breathing. So those of you who know it, please proceed. And those of you who need instruction, I will provide the instruction right now. With your eyes closed, bring your awareness to the bottommost part of the mouth that connects into the neck. Focus on that hole through which food and air passes down. Focusing there, make a big smile. As the cheeks come out in a smile, you will find a slight stretch in the throat. This is only for a beginner instruction, because once you're used to it, you will know how to stretch your throat over there, even without having to make a big smile. But once you make a big smile, you can feel it, and that's a stretch you want to keep. With that stretch, you do normal deep breathing, slow deep breathing. And when you do that, as you inhale, the stretch there acts as a resistor, and so you'll feel a mild sucking sensation when you inhale, and when you exhale, it'll feel like a reverse sucking sensation. So please continue, and remember, it has to be done with very light effort. If you put too much effort, the effect of yoga gets lost. So we'll see as we go along in the second chapter of the Yoga Sutra, that when the effort is light, it leads to, that is the way yoga is done. And of course, we say from the practice of yoga, it is better in cleansing the nadis when you put light effort. If you put too much effort, the strain will block the communication in the nadis. Now, bring your awareness behind the sternum and observe a flow going upward and out of the top of the head. And that flow has a vibration of 3 syllables. Haim, em, Haim, em, Feel the flow. Haim, em, Now bring your awareness to the lungs in the chest area and mentally vibrate Haim, Haim, Haim. So now, before we go on to the spinal alignment, Bal Mukund.
Thanks, Dr. Rajan. Let me share my screen. All right. So namaskar again. It gives me a great delight to announce Life in Yoga's biannual donation drive. And I would like to start by thanking you all for your support. It has been a tremendous 1.5-year journey. Close to 3,000 people have registered for our classes. 300 to 400 people do yoga with us every month. 200 to 250 people do yoga with us every day. And it has brought tremendous benefits to the health and well-being of the participants, whether it's terms of chronic health conditions, blood pressure, diabetes, better sleep, and better immunity. And we have grown beyond the daily yoga classes as well. Close to 100 people have gone through measured yoga therapy program. We have expanded our therapist training program. 30 to 40 new therapists are being trained. 14 new BioWell machines have been bought, and all thanks to your philanthropic donations. And we have also expanded our offering for continuing medical education credits for doctors, educational seminars, and we host social hour also twice every week. Let me talk about my own personal journey with life in yoga. You see, I was suffering from an incurable condition in 2019. And prior to that, I used to be a healthy, physically active guy. And I went down with a viral fever that turned into chronic fatigue syndrome. And I had extreme fatigue, inflammation, exercise intolerance, high heart rate, and whatnot. And I thought I was going to be bedridden for the rest of my life. And I was lucky that I got the opportunity to have Life in Yoga's therapy. I got introduced through a friend, and I made substantial recovery in 4 months, close to full recovery in 10 months. And since then, it became a mission for me to promote and scale up Life in Yoga's operations. But not everybody is lucky like me, so we need to reach out to more people. So let's take a moment to thank Dr. Rajan Narayanan. He's truly a yoga scientist on a mission. He has developed measured yoga therapy, and through which we have treated close to 1,000 patients with complex lifelong illnesses that nobody else could treat. But life in yoga actually can help millions of people, millions of people, those who are suffering from complex illnesses like chronic fatigue syndrome, long COVID, autoimmune conditions. Tens of millions of seniors suffer from complex illnesses, mental health issues, cardiovascular and sleep issues. And Western medicine has its own limitations and side effects and no true cure. So we definitely need to scale beyond our reach. But scaling up resources takes, scaling of operations takes resources. We need to open more centers. We need to train more therapists, buy more BioWell machines. We also need to partner with medical institutions so that we can deliver our therapy through effective means. Well, daily online yoga has been a pathway, and we have had expanded our reach, but we love to have further support from you. We would love you to spread the message. So call your friends, family, and acquaintances and tell them how wonderful Life in Yoga's daily classes have been for you and for your health, and all those of you who have taken therapy, how it has benefited you. And last but not least, we'd be very grateful for your donations, because no organization can grow without donations. So here's how you can donate. On the website, you can go to lifeinyoga.org, and there on the top right corner, you'll see the button PayPal. And so you can click on that button and you can go through the motions of the donation process. You can also choose to donate there by using your credit card or debit card. Make sure you use HTTPS because that means that it's a secure site. You can also donate by writing a check, and you can write that check to Life in Yoga Institute. Here's the tax ID for your purposes. And you can mail that check to Jayashree Prakash, who manages our accounts. You should know that Life in Yoga is a charitable tax exempt organization. All these details are there on the website. Also on the daily reminder emails, item 3 and 4, on your daily reminder email, if you scroll down, you'll see that this contains that information. And with that, I'll thank you all for your continuous support, and we wish all of you very good health and hope we continue to do our service even further to a lot more people through this community. Thank you.
So let's continue with our spinal alignment. As you exhale, gently tilt your head and bring your head towards your ear, towards one shoulder. Inhale, come back, and exhale, go towards the other shoulder and continue. Last exhalation. Inhale, come back. And as you exhale, turn the head and look over one shoulder. Exhale, come forward. Inhale, come forward, and exhale, turn. Continue. Last exhalation, turn, inhale, come back. With the next inhalation, lift up the chin and take the head all the way back. And as you exhale, bring the chin down towards the chest. And continue. Inhale, back up. And exhale, bring the chin down. Last exhalation, chin down toward the chest. Inhale and make half a circle going 360 degrees around the neck. And with the exhalation, complete the other part of the 360 degrees. Continue, inhale, going around the neck, and exhale, complete. Now, when you complete the exhalation, let's go in the reverse direction. Now, once you complete the last exhalation, let's go on to the shoulder exercises. Inhale, lift up one shoulder, exhale, rotate it back and bring it down. Inhale, lift up the other shoulder, exhale, rotate it back and bring it down. And continue. Last inhalation and last exhalation. Now let's stretch out the hands in front of you. And as you inhale, lift up the palm and stretch out the fingers. Exhale, thumb in and make a downward facing fist. Inhale, up and stretch, and exhale, down. Last inhale and last exhale. Now keep the fist and go around the wrist. Inhale, half a circle, and exhale, complete the circle. Now let's go reverse. Now bring the elbows in line with the shoulders and the fist below the chin, and as you inhale, go around the wrist, open out the palms, and exhale, close the fist and come down. Continue. Last inhalation and last exhalation, and let's go reverse. Last exhalation. Now interlock the hands and bring it behind the head. And as you exhale, gently twist to one side. Inhale, come back. Exhale, twist the other way. Inhale, come back. And continue. Last exhalation. Inhale, come back. Get hold of the elbows behind the head. And as you exhale, pull on one elbow. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, pull on the other elbow, and inhale, come back up. And continue. Last exhalation. And now we bring our hands behind the back, get hold of the elbows or wherever you can reach. And as you exhale, gently turn to one side. Inhale, come back. Exhale, turn the other way. Inhale, come back. And continue. Last exhalation. Inhale, come back. Get hold of the hips behind the back and holding the hips. As you inhale, push on one hand and make a backward arch. Exhale, come back to the forward position. Inhale, push the other side. Exhale, come forward and continue. Last inhalation and last exhalation. Now we can cross one leg over the other. Get hold of the knee on the top. And as you exhale, pull on the knee and cross it to the opposite shoulder and turn the head the other way. Inhale, release. Exhale, pull and turn. Inhale, release. Last exhalation, pull and turn. Inhale, release. Now we cross the other leg over. Exhale, pull and turn. Last exhalation, pull and turn. Inhale, release. Now we can do cycling exercise with each leg. As you inhale, bring in your knee. Exhale, lift up the leg, stretch it out and bring it down. And let's continue with the same leg. Last inhalation and last exhalation. Now we can go to the other leg. Inhale and exhale. Last inhalation and last exhalation. Now bring in your knee and hold your leg under the knee and bring it towards your chest and go around the ankle. Inhale and exhale and turn around the ankle. Let's go in the opposite direction. Now let's go to the other leg. Inhale and exhale. Let's go in the reverse direction. Now let's stand up. Those of you who have a reasonable balance, you can stand up. If you have bad balance, you can do it seated on the chair. We are going to do the pelvic bend. Bring your hands behind your back. Hold your elbows if you can reach or wherever you can in your arm. Inhale, stretch back the shoulders and lift up the chin. And as you exhale, you can lean forward, keeping the chin up and shoulder pulled back. Lean forward only from the hip. Inhale and exhale into the stretch. Inhale and slowly come up. Take your seat. And then we lift both the shoulders together. As we inhale and exhale, rotate it back and bring it down in easy slow motion. Inhale and exhale. Inhale last time and exhale. Now focus on the breath and we will do alternate nostril breathing just to make sure that it's both are equal. If one breath is less than the other, begin from that side and continue. Now we go on to the first round of Bhastrika, but we begin the Bhastrika first by doing a Bahya Kumbhaka, and then in the inhalation after the exhalation of the Bahya Kumbhaka, we begin with the Bhastrika. Okay, so to begin the Bahya Kumbhaka, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, pull up the pelvic floor, take the abdominal area in, feel the entire chest empty, and bring the chin down to the chest, hold out the breath. Now, inhale in Bhastrika. Exhale. 2. Exhale. 3. Exhale. 4. Exhale. 5. Exhale. 6. Exhale. 7. Exhale. 8. exhale, 9, exhale, 10, exhale, 11, exhale, 12, exhale, 30, exhale, 40, exhale, 50, exhale, 60, exhale, 70, exhale, 80, exhale, 90, exhale, 20, exhale. Take a deep breath in through the right nostril. Hold the breath as long as you feel comfortable. Exhale through the left nostril and then relax. Now we are ready to go on to this final mantra. So here we go. We do the 7 mantras from the feet and ankle to the knees to the lowermost part of the spine, which is in between the buttocks and the back, and then the lumbar spine, the thoracic spine, the cervical spine in the neck, and then in the back of the head in the very top called the Chakra point. The mantra for the feet and neck are the same, that is Aim. Now let us begin from the feet and ankle with mantra Aim, moving to knees where we vibrate Shim, and move on to the base of the spine where we do Jim. Aim, Shim, 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 Jim. Now we move from the base of the spine to the lumbar region, then to the thoracic or the back region of the spine with Jim, Jaim, Haim. So let's go. Jim, Jaim, Haim. 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 Now we move from the thoracic spine to the spine and the neck to the back of the head with Haim, Aim, Om. Let's go. Haim, Aim, Om. Haim, Aim, Om. Haim, Aim, Om. Haim, Aim, Om. I'm Om, 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 I'm Om. Now we do all the 7 mantras in sequence, starting from the feet and ankle. Aim, Shim, Jim, Jaim, Haim, Aim, Om. 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 I'm Shim Jim Jam Ham I'm 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 Om. I'm Shim Jam Ham I'm Om. I'm Shim Jim 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 Jam Ham I'm Om. Now we can go on again to our Bhastrika, but we again begin with the Bahya Kumbhak. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, pull up the pelvic floor, take the abdominal area in, continue exhaling, empty the chest, and bring the chin down to the chest. Let's begin with inhalation. Exhale. 2, inhale. Exhale. 3. Exhale. 4. Exhale. 5. Exhale. 6. Exhale. 7. Exhale. 8. Exhale. 9. Exhale. 10. Exhale. 11. Exhale. 12. Exhale. 13. Exhale. 14. Exhale. 15. Exhale. 60. Exhale. 70. Exhale. 80. Exhale. 90. Exhale. And 20. Exhale. Take a deep breath in through the right nostril, hold the breath and exhale to the left, and then relax. Now let's go on to the next round. Let's begin with the Bahya Kumbhak. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, pull up the pelvic floor, take the abdominal area in, continue to exhale, empty the chest and bring the chin down to the chest. Now inhale. Exhale. 2. Exhale. 3. Exhale. 4. Exhale. 5. Exhale. 6. Exhale. 7. Exhale. 8. Exhale. 9. Exhale. 10. Exhale. 11. Exhale. 12. Exhale. 30. Exhale. 40. Exhale. 50. Exhale. 70. Exhale. 80. Exhale. 90. Exhale. And 20. Exhale. Take in a deep breath through the right nostril, hold the breath, and exhale through the left, and then relax. Mentally tell yourself, I give up all ideas and concepts and I care about nothing. I let go of everything. I let go of everything. I let go of everything. As you mentally let go of everything, feel like the shoulders are becoming light. Perhaps the head feels open and light too. If you have a personal mantra, focus on the personal mantra. And if you don't have a personal mantra, visualize a rising vibration from behind the sternum going through the middle of the body and out of the top of the head. And that vibration feels like 3 syllables. Haim Em Om, Haim Em Om, Haim Em Om, Haim Em Om. And as you do that, Om will play in the background. Mentally affirm to yourself, may I be guided to fulfill the purpose for which I am born. Understanding this body as an instrument of the cosmic flow. With that as the thought, become aware of the senses from the top of the body all the way down to the bottom of the feet. Realizing the senses are for the body to do its purpose for which it's born. Whenever you're ready to, open your eyes, raise the palm of your hands and look straight into the palm of your hands. Today is our day of discussion. So I had suggested, given that we had this discussion about earlier about Kashmir Shaivism, I could discuss that. But first, let me open and ask what questions you have, anything you want to discuss. You can unmute yourself and speak up.
I have a question about my memory problem.
Yes.
Dr. Raj.
Yeah.
So could you help me,
Just do the mantra Ka Rom.
Which one?
Ka Rom.
Ro.
Ka Rom. Ka-Rom. Rom. Ka Rom. Ka Rom. Ka Rom. So do this as a mantra. Yes. Do it for 20 minutes, 3 times a day.
Okay. Thank you. And then can I do a mantra speaking loud?
Do whatever way in which you like. But this segment is more the philosophical discussion, right? So, yeah,
Okay.
let's continue. Yeah, it is okay whichever way you do.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Are you going to do Kashmir Shaivism about like the doer and the experiencer? Is that what you're doing today?
But I'm going to speak into the system of the Kashmir Shaivism and how it maps with yoga. But there have also been scholars in Kashmir Shaivism who criticize yoga. So the perspective of it is how a person understands Kashmir Shaivism and how they understand yoga. This is what we can speak on. But first, you see, rather than me picking on a topic, I would rather that you ask a question, what you would like to hear. Shamaji, go ahead.
I wanted some mantra or something for my lower spine, if you can.
I would say there is nothing specific over here. You know, Virendra Kemsara, this was not the forum for this, so let's not do this. So let's separate this out. This is a different discussion forum, right?
Okay, all right.
Okay, I have a question about something else. In Ramakrishna Paramahansa, he used to go for samadhi. You started talking about samadhi a couple of days ago, and I was wondering, is there any difference between what he did and what you talked about in the samadhi? Because he used to go into the samadhi standing up, and literally he was totally unconscious. He was in a different world.
Okay. See, the thing is, in the way in which Ramakrishna Paramahamsa functioned, right? He obviously was able to experience well beyond the body. You see, within our Atmanadi, there are 3 areas of what we call siddhis, or the abilities. And these 3 areas of siddhis has got nothing to do with the other 3 areas of the Atmanadi, which we have spoken on an earlier occasion, where the level of vidya or cosmic wisdom you have, your level of cosmic connectivity, and the amount of programs you have which you need to work out, these three elements are common for everyone. However, in the same Atmanadi, there is another area called the special abilities that come to people. And within that special abilities, there are three kinds of special abilities. One is ability to sense vibrations. So you're able to sense, you feel this way, that way, and things. Then the third is you're able to make a sense of what these vibrations mean in, like for example, in Yoga Sutra in chapter 3, from sutra number 16 to 39, you can experience various things within, sense various things within the body. So being able to sense vibrations and know what the meaning of it, like knowing how a person, other person is feeling, those kinds of things. An example of it is, if I look at you, I can look to see which chakra is more active for you. And by that, I can tell what is your general thinking, orientation of your thinking. Okay. And so I can also sense where exactly do you have concentrations of vibrations. And based on the nature of the concentration, we can also tell your personality. You see, for instance, if I tune into you and if I sense how the head feels over here, I can tell how quick is your ability to grasp. So if there are two people, whom I know, I can tell by looking over here, this person has a quicker grasping power than another person. And then as we go down in this throat area, you can tell what is the nature of how the person speaks. When you look at the shoulder, you can tell their personality nature, how they are able to, how they respond to responsibility. Typically people will say, when you let go of something, just shrug it off your shoulders, right? This is where people take the weight of responsibilities. So you can see it as vibration. And so these kinds of ability is to see, how they are in each part of the body, to know the personality element of the person. So these are the abilities where the second area I'm talking about of Siddhi's ability to sense and know what they mean. Now, generally, a weaker sense is the first is to be able to sense things, but not know what they are. So the second element is to know this. The third element is what is called to project your intent. So projecting your intent is where the extreme case of projecting intent is, many of you have probably heard of this person, the saint who passed away, that is Sai Baba. So he used to materialize things, right? I have not personally seen him, but I have seen it on videos, and so many people have reported he will put up his hand like this and he'll materialize things. It's not him alone. I have also known of other people who have abilities to do that. Okay. So the ability to materialize is to project your intent. This is a third level, but the most extreme case is to materialize. But to project your intent, projecting intent can mean as simple as you mentally focus and say, I would like this to happen. And it may have nothing to do with materializing. You want a good job, you want a specific thing, projecting your intent and getting that is all part of that kind of siddhi. So now what happens is, within that same siddhi is the ability to project your intent and see it. And that is what Ramakrishna Paramahamsa had. He had the ability to project his intent, and he was a great devotee of the Divine Mother in the form of Kali. So the moment he thought of that, he could experience Kali right in front of him. So the thing is, you see, so to that degree he was there, and that element. And of course, as the Yoga Sutra says, and as we all understand, we can never ever be sure that we have reached the highest level of understanding. The only thing Yoga Sutra is very clear on is the person who has real wisdom is a person who understands anybody who is in a body is only an instrument of the divine flow, no matter what abilities you have. You're no greater or lesser than anybody else. And so the thing is from that perspective. And of course, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa had a very clear element about him, about he was not particularly caring about what others thought about him. And he had no agenda to, go and spread his message all over the world or whatever. That was Vivekananda's agenda, not Ramakrishna's. And so the thing is basically, that is the kind of ability that Ramakrishna Paramahamsa had. Now, what is very interesting about him is, like, all great saints who go through higher levels of realization, he too went through his own level of realization. Like, for example, when he was married to Sharada Devi, he had a sense about how to operate. I'm told from stories that he considered Sharada Devi so pure that menstrual cycle were not something that is supposed to have any impediment from his perspective. Her purity was so high, the menstrual cycle was irrelevant. And by the same token, you see, so these kind of awarenesses that go and all of that, this was his zone. So all of these are possibilities in different ways. Now, the if we look, innately with respect to the with respect to all the different evolved souls, we can literally get into trouble to discuss them in a public forum. Because what happens is, you will be able to, once you sense them, you can go timelessly in the backward. Like, for example, I'll say it with a lot of respect. That is, many of you know the great Shankaracharya, the Adi Shankaracharya. So he was an extraordinary person who was completely enlightened at the age of 28. But the thing is, basically, while he was completely enlightened, and many of us have heard stories how he was able to penetrate into the body of a dying king in order to experience what was a life of a householder. And we have also been able to hear stories about how when his mother was leaving the body, how he was able to come very, very rapidly and all of that. So these are all fine. He had all of these abilities. But all of these abilities, which point in time he had, are important to note. Like, for example, at an earlier point in time, when he crafted the composition called Viveka Chudamani, right in the second verse he states, you're very fortunate that you're a male and you're a Brahmin, and so you're eligible to read this. So in other words, what he implies is, if you're a female, and if you're not, I don't know what he meant by Brahmin. It can be a way of thinking, or if he meant as a caste or whatever. But the thing is, you see, when a person writes like that, you wonder, why is he saying that, right? And similarly, if you look in the case of when he was going, as the story goes, when in his later years, he was in Varanasi in Kashi, and he was going to have a bath early morning in the river Ganga, and right in front of him comes the cremation keeper, the Chandal, who comes in front of him, and then he considers him as a low life. So Shankaracharya, in his mind, he has a sense of higher life and lower life over there, and so he tells him, "You low life, get out of my way." And so this low life responds back to him and asks him, "You mean this body or the soul?" And the moment when he asked that question, Shankaracharya, at that moment, he had not been enlightened enough to understand the body is only an instrument of the cosmic flow. He had a sense of high and low until that point in time. That was the point in time he had complete enlightenment. So what happens is when we look at life of all of these from a yogic standpoint, we see the progression of realization. And so in the case of Ramakrishna too, you see, it is very interesting. In his earlier days, the story is said when his brother arranged for him to come and be the priest in that temple over there in Dakshineshwar. And that temple was what is called the Yajman, or the one who is the trustee of the paquet, the owner of that temple, was a very rich lady called Rani Rashmani. And he considered her as a lower this thing. He wouldn't go over there kind of thing. But then later on, he too evolved in that process. So the experiences that you allude to, it is because of the siddhi abilities, people have different experiences. Now, let's take another case. Now, in the case of Ramana Maharishi, right? In the case of Ramana Maharishi, he had the ability to sense at the three levels that I said, the ability to sense, to know what you perceive, and then to project your intent. Ramana Maharshi only had the ability to sense. He did not have the ability to know and to project his intent. And but what happened was he didn't need those. That was not his swadharma. But the person was completely realized. And so this is the nature. Too often in the world, people get carried away by when somebody shows like magic, this ability and all of that. The reality of it is that is there in them only in order to fulfill their purpose in life. If they go outside if they misuse it, then that misuse is called, it creates, as they say, negative consequences that have impact. And I will not go into these various saints to say, what kind of negative consequences that people might have done, because those of you who have faith towards various saints, I don't want to disturb your faith. But the part is basically from the perspective of understanding yoga, the progression aspect is okay to discuss, because after all, we have high regard for all of these souls, right? So coming back now, I can explain this in terms of Kashmir Shaivism too. But Shivaji, did I answer a question, or did I kind of go in a different direction?
No, he did answer the question. What I was wondering is physically what was happening to his body, because his body was, they did not get the pulse. The doctors checked. He had no pulse, no heart, but he was still alive.
And also he died of cancer, right? In the throat. Actually, what is very interesting is I have pondered a lot on this business. Because you see, within some of the yogi communities, actually, they call this cancer as a, disease of the saints, they say, some of the people. I've heard that said by somebody, okay? But the thing is, you see, cancer usually comes because of a violation of the immune system in the body. The way the immune system works in the body is, every time, at every moment, we are cosmically connected being. In order to fulfill the purpose of our life, we are getting subtle, messages within us. It fruitions in two ways. One is whatever you have to deal with comes and stands in front of you. And the second thing that happens is, intuitively you feel, okay, I have to do this. So people who block their intuition, where they only use their logical mind to deal with it, they may not feel the intuition. But for people who are open-minded, they will feel the intuition. Okay? And so normally you function that way. Now, where does the connectivity happen? The connectivity happens right through the top of the head over here. But then that connectivity comes along the Atmanadi. It connects over here and comes along the front of the body. That is where the Atmanadi is connected into the sternum. The Atma is sitting right over here. So what happens is, there is a point right in the hairline. This point is called the Murdhanya point. The Murdhanya point over here is, you can think of it as the filter or the pathway through which whatever is the cosmic messages we are getting will come through. For various reasons, that Murdhanya point starts playing a trick. When the messages are coming, it flips it. So the message gets garbled, corrupted. And it's so whatever is the message that is coming, because it is corrupted, what is received in there becomes different. So what happens is, this is how cancer is formed in the system. When the disturbance is not exactly opposite, but somewhat disturbed, it creates autoimmune conditions. But when it is completely flipped, then in which case it creates cancer. So the way the cancer cells grow in the body is, what is bad for you, it thinks it is good for you, and it wants to propagate more, and that's how the cancer cells expand, right? So this is the place where it flips it. So I have been have pondered on why it is this can happen for people like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa or whatever, but some reason this appears to be the cause that happened. And we can usually go back. Maybe I will meditate a little and go back in time to look at which point in time it happened and how it took place. I'll take a look, and maybe if I get an answer, I'll share with you another time. So coming back to Kashmir Shaivism. Okay, I see a message over here. You're using very big words over here. It says, man's capability of being omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent has been recorded with authority. Examples are bringing dead people to life after doctors had certified death to them. Capability to do cosmic travel to save some people when he dies or about to die, and when he falls into a valley also. Okay. Everything that I'm talking about is fine. I'm being specific. But these big words like omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent, I will shy away from those words. They are way beyond. I'm being very specific. You see, what happens is, when you're not specific, you start building stories. You see, what happens is, Trump doesn't want to be specific. He just wants to make the claim that the election was stolen. But if you go into specifics, you know the election wasn't stolen, right? So if we start using words like omnipresent, omniscient, and all of that, I don't want to go there, okay? But the kind of abilities that you point out, I completely agree with you, okay? And so...
Dr. Narayan, I can come up with the specific examples, but it doesn't mean to argue the point that you're making. I'm only trying to enlighten myself.
Yeah, but the thing is, basically, words have a way of creating an image, and each person sees it in their own different image. Now, whereas for me, I more go from a scientific angle, even though the scientific angle and measurements are in a more intuitive domain. I'm precisely telling you where it is these abilities exist. So to loosely say that these abilities exist, I don't have a problem with that. You know, what you say, the examples you say, I completely agree with you. But I don't like the generalized words, because they conjure an image, but you cannot explain how it happens, whereas I can explain how it happens.
Okay, that's
Okay.
what I was looking for, yeah.
Yeah, so that is where I'm telling you how the nadis have these abilities, and how one is able to do. And no matter what abilities people have, we have to realize they are only a human being. In fact, what happens is, if we go into the spiritual domain, the one with the greatest Atma Vidya you can ever think of is actually Narasimha Avatara. The Narasimha Avatara came out of nowhere manifest and out of nowhere went back. The ability to create the body and life and come and go back. And the Atma Vidya or the level of awareness and connectivity has to be very, very high for that to be possible. And to be in a lion, face and a human body and all of that. Now, the interesting part is, compared to Narasimha Avatara, Krishna obviously had a lot of siddhis. And, Hanuman had a lot of siddhis. But the thing is, you see, Narasimha Avatara is much beyond. And compared to them, Rama Avatara was very little, not at the high level of Atma Vidya. The concept of Avatara has not got to do with anything about Atma Vidya or anything, but somebody who is able to support the cosmic flow and save the cosmic flow from going in the wrong direction. Rama is an avatara because he was able to destroy Ravana and as a result of it restore the flow of dharma, the cosmic dharma. That makes him an avatar. So the thing is, basically, when we go into this domain, we are able to see different aspects and abilities. And you can understand, if I ask a lot of people, but people won't have an answer as to why Ram, based upon the comment made somewhere by somebody overheard, making a derogatory comment about Ram, accepting his wife after she had spent 14 years in the custody of Ravana, just hearing that, the man banishes his wife from there on. So would any a person who has the higher awareness ever do that? And the thing is, you see, you can try to give mental arguments as to why he might have done and context and all of that. The reality is the person was not evolved enough to know that. But of course, for a yogi, if you can connect in and know, you can know the different nature. And I think I'm speaking too much, because what it is I don't want to disturb the faith of people. We are going in a wrong direction. So let's come back to the Kashmir Shaivism. In Kashmir Shaivism, there are the philosophical element is very, very similar to the yoga system. There is the concept of God, and out of God, the energy that comes and creates everything. And then you are part of the creation. And the three interacting together is how you lead to the higher realization. This philosophy is called the Trika philosophy. In the yoga philosophy, we call it as Purusha, Prakriti, and you are the seeker. Now, by the same token, in the Kashmir philosophy, it is called the Shiva, Shakti, and the seeker. So this is the concept that comes from the Kashmir philosophy. Now, within this philosophy, in Kashmir Shiva philosophy, it tells that there are 4 levels of people at any point in time. For people for whom there is the highest level of purity, that with such high level of purity, simply by asking the question, who am I? You can know everything. That is called Shambhopaya. So and this is where a case like Ramana Maharshi explains that. And for people who do various mantras and practices and evolve over time and get to know things, that is called Shaktopaya. And then for people who go through the ringers of life, ups and downs, fulfilling their karmas, and then later on in life they are able to go beyond, that is called Anvopaya, or the lower path. And the 4th category, actually, in the Shiva Sutra of Kashmir Shaivism, it is actually a blank chapter. In other words, no discussion. It is called Anupaya. That for people whose karma klesha load is so huge that they have no ability to attain the highest realization in this life, they call it as Anupaya. They need to have more life before they can proceed. So these are the 4 distinctions that they come. And in the same thing, in the Vedic system, it is, and the Tantra system, there is a slightly different understanding and approach. In the Vedic system, these four things can be correlated with what is called the Varnas. The Varnas don't mean caste. So a Brahmin soul is a soul who, in fact, what it is they don't exactly correlate with Kashmir Shaivism, because from the Tantra system, there are four levels of Brahmins. The seeker, the person who lives under assumption, anybody who is looking beyond the physical world is a Brahmin soul. What is the meaning of life? Questioning. So one who is questioning all of this is a seeker. That is the lowest level of Brahmin. The next level of Brahmin is the person who is a believer, who believes this is the nature of existence beyond the world. The third level is that of a person who is a renunciate. The renunciate is a person who says, if this is what the world is all about, who cares? And the fourth level is the realized being. And the realized being knows, having come into this body, there is a purpose for my life. So these are the four levels. And the next, you have two levels of people who are more what I call society-centered. One level of society-centered people who are called the Kshatriyas. Chatra means your zone of focus, which so your domain. So people who think in terms of my country, my domain, my community, that is you don't live for yourself, but you think in terms of living for the group that you associate with. So there are two levels here. One is people who have a narrow definition of their domain. And for people, another level is people who think all of humanity and world as their domain, a humanitarian focus, right? So a community or a nation-centered person versus what you would call as a humanitarian-centered person. So these are the two levels of the Kshatriya Pravritti, right? And then the next level is the one where a person is self-centered. So the self-centered person always seeks to control resources for themselves. And then the lowest level is considered a person who lives at sustenance level, only thinking in terms of what do I need to live. They're more worried about the next meal, not planning forward and thinking further. So if you look at these levels, the lowest level is called the Chudra. The next level of self-centered being is called a Vaishya, and the people who look beyond themselves but more associated with the physical world are called the Kshatriyas, and people who think beyond the physical world as the Brahmanas. But this has got to do with your thinking and not who your parents were. It has nothing to do with that. And so this is the Varna system that comes from the Vedic system. In the Tantra system, the same thing is called Kundalini, or your awareness. So your awareness, depending upon which chakra you're in, that becomes your outlook. When the Kundalini is sitting in the Muladhara, you're in a more basic, what you would call as survival mode. Whereas in the Swadhisthana chakra, that is where your awareness is, because that is where most of your energy is flowing. Then you're in a self-centered mode. In the navel, in the Manipura chakra, you're the lower level of Kshatriya, where you're centered in terms of my community, my nation, my people kind of feeling. In the Anahata, or the heart center, all of existing, all of humanity and world, you think in terms of the well-being of everybody. Then when you come to the Vishuddhi Chakra, here is the first level of the Brahmanatva, the seeker. The Agnya Chakra, the believer. The top of the head is the renunciate. And then the awareness comes along from all of this is in the middle of the body, along the Sushumna Nadi. And then once it reaches there, from there it comes along the Atma Nadi to the Atma over here. And this is where the person becomes self-realized as a person who understands there is a purpose in coming to the body, but I don't need to be attached to anything. That is where how I expand the programs and I go beyond rebirth. So this is the cycle that comes. And so you can understand how Kashmir Shaivism brings it in. There is one other element of Kashmir Shaivism which is very unique and interesting, and there is a correlation with the yoga philosophy. When we go to the chapter 4, you will see that chapter 4 in the Yoga Sutra says it is the sense of asmita of God. In other words, it is the sense of me, the experiencer of the cosmic Purusha, that creates all the experience, all the world. Otherwise, creation cannot take place. Creation takes place because God, like an artist, wants to experience himself or herself. In Kashmir Shaivism, the same thing is expressed in a slightly different way. They say in Kashmir Shaivism, for God going in front of a mirror to observe himself or herself or itself is what a creation of all the world is like. So that is the parallel that comes across in Kashmir Shaivism. So with that, we'll end today. I've gone over the time. And if there are any questions, I'll kind of just wait for another couple of minutes. Any quick questions? Yes,
Sir,
go
I
ahead,
have a
Madhu.
question.
Yeah.
So when you say programmed, the programs within us, does it mean karma? Does it mean vasanas?
Okay.
Thank you.
There are really two kinds of programs within you. One kind of program is the reactions you create, which are called the karmas. And the reactions can happen only after the first birth. In the first birth, there are no at the time of the first birth, you don't have a baggage of previous reactions, which are called the karmas. In the first birth, you only have the first cosmically ordained programs for you, which are called kleshas. So within the kleshas and karmas, the kleshas are your leanings, how you behave. Now, vasanas is in the same category of kleshas. And what can happen is, it is very interesting, the vasanas or leanings can also form because of likings you develop in one lifetime and associations which carry on to another lifetime. And they are of a nature, they are not strong karmic elements. They are more in the nature of a third category that is almost similar to kleshas. Any other questions?
I have one.
Yes.
I mean, it's a simple question. Are vibrations similar to like a tingling sensation when you talk of vibration?
Vibrations can be tingling sensation. Vibrations can be the process of digestion in your body.
Okay.
Vibrations are the process of you thinking. The movement of your eyelids is vibration.
Okay.
The breathing in your nose is vibration. Everything in the cosmos is vibration. In fact, what happens is, if you look at the level of the biochemical interaction in the body or anywhere, it is vibration. Ionic exchange is vibration. The ionic exchange in the vibration, when an automobile or a motorcycle is making a noise, that is vibration. When music is playing, it is vibration. But those are all audible vibrations.
Yes.
So vibrations can be audible or subtle, but everything in cosmos is vibration.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Dr. Rajan, I have a question.
Yes.
So, in the first creation of God, there was no pain, and I mean, if it was only kleshas at that point, were there any kind of pain and dukkha at that point of time? And the second thing is, if I don't know if you say yes or no to that. If you say yes to that, I mean, what is the eventual progression of this creation? Because we've been adding every generation. I don't know if it'd be right to say, but every generation we've been seeing more and more, pain and other kinds of evil. I mean, evil,
Hold one second. Hold 1 second.
Yeah.
Pain, evil are all in the eyes of the perceiver. Okay? So the thing is basically, when, Ramana Maharshi had his cancer in his throat, Ramana Maharshi said, let the cancer be there, who cares? He had, no pain. Okay? But if he focused on the physical body, he will feel pain. So the same way, you see, for one person, right? When the couple were married and they were not getting along, then in which case they decided they are going to separate and go each way. The person who says, "Oh, this is very nice," and walks away. Whereas on the other hand, another situation, they feel pain. Why did I go through it? So pain is in your reaction. It is in the pain is in your mind, and as you're an observer, what you see as good or bad. If you don't see anything as good or bad, there is no pain. Okay?
I've heard, I get that, Dr. Rajan, but I find it very hard to reconcile that when you see some very fundamental things like children in this world who don't have enough to eat, or those malnourished children. I mean, those.
I understand. Let me stop you. The thing is, you see, simply do more meditation. As the higher awareness come, you can understand all of this is the flow of karma, and you can understand the concept of evil and all of this. We say it is anything that is not within the flow of karma, the flow of the cosmic dharma is what is considered evil from a dharmic concept. The only thing that exists is dharma and adharma. So everything else is our mental conditioning and morality. In fact, what it is yoga has no place for morality, because what it is it is what is the how you perceive is what matters. So for one person, if you look in terms of morality of different ages, okay, you will see a different perspective of how people think what is right and what is wrong. And if you look across different cultures, okay, so it is all in the eyes of the perceiver. And once you realize we are all over here in a journey, you will understand. And Arun, reflect on the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna goes and tells Arjuna, go and kill your cousins. And, like a normal good person like Arun, Arjuna was saying, it's a bad thing to kill people, so I don't want to do it. And then Krishna tells him, no, it is your duty to go and kill. So Arun, you have to figure out when the challenges come in life, how to deal with them, right? But the thing is, it's a question of awareness that only with the expansion of Atma Vidya, one can see this thing. Okay, we will end this over here.